Hey everyone, how's it going? Puntastic77 here, coming to you with some Team Fortress 2. Hope you're doing well. I'm bringing you some gameplay here as the heavy on PL Upward here. It's a really good game. So you're going to see an offensive part here, some wackiness happens, and then you'll see a defensive part here. That's why it's a little bit of a longer game here. I'm playing as the heavy, as I said, with the stock minigun, the sandwich, and the Fist of Steel. I don't know why I use the Fist of Steel. Just a little aside before we get into the topic for today. But I remember that when I was on my first competitive team, our heavy would use the Fist of Steel, and I was using the gloves of running urgently, or the boxing gloves of running urgently. And I asked him, why do you use the Fist of Steel as opposed to the gloves of running urgently? Don't you want to get to your location faster? And he replied, well, no, this kind of protects against sniper fire and things when you're running away, so I'd rather be more defensive than offensive. And so that's always kind of stuck with me because I used to be a really aggressive offensive player. You know, as you can tell when I play Soldier, I used to have the buff banner on, and now I've kind of changed my play style to have the battalion's backup, which in my opinion is more of a defensive buff that allows you to stay alive longer, which allows you to get more kills and put out more DPS and all that kind of stuff. So you can see I'm a little bit more defensive with my heavy, but I had some really good offensive pushes on here, so I just wanted to bring that to you all here. But let's get on to the topic for today that I wanted to talk about, and that is cycles. And I don't mean like menstrual cycles or wash cycles or anything like that. I mean life cycles and gaming cycles. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So, you know, grab your britches. You know, we're about to dive right into this topic here, and you're about to see some BS right now. Boom, get the headshot, have an amazing kill streak. You've been auto-balanced. So I'm just going to transition over to some other gameplay here. This is not the same gameplay. Defensively, we got killed afterwards because I had just pushed up so much that I had helped our team roll over on the second point, get to the third point, fourth, and then the last one there. So I did not want to show me getting killed a bunch of times playing as the Pyro, which is what ended up happening here. So this is the next game right after playing a little bit of defense here, and it's a pretty good one. Anyways, back to cycles. So what I'm talking about cycles, there's cycles all throughout our lives, routines, cycles, whatever the term I'm going to be using those two terms interchangeably to talk about these same things. So, you know, that's when I say routine, I mean cycle. When I mean cycle, I mean routine. So what am I talking about here? Our whole lives are just routines and cycles. Now, that's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's whatever you think it is. So, for example, younger viewers who have to go to school, your life is very routine. You gotta wake up at this time, catch the school bus by this time, grab breakfast, you know, at school or before, make it to class on this time, and then every class has a certain time. You get out at a certain time. You have to go to practice from, you know, 3:30 to 5:30, get home, homework, or dinner, homework, hour of Netflix, and chill, and go to sleep. If you're an adult, a little bit older, out of school here or in college, you know, it's a little bit of a mix-up here, but you kind of fall into the same routines. So college, you know, you get a little bit more freedom. You get to set your own schedule, but you still have, you know, class time from this. If you go to the library and study, you have this time you got to be there. You got to, you know, find some time for friends and the gym and, you know, relaxation and Netflix and chilling. That seems to be the constant here. Then when you're an adult, same thing. Out of school, you got your first job, you know, you're a seasoned veteran here. You wake up, make breakfast, go to work, drive, take the bus, whatever you do to get to work, or however you get to work. Do your thing at work, go home, eat dinner, rinse and repeat, with the Netflix and chill in that as well here. So that's the constant in all life, and that's the main point, you know, of my life lessons, is Netflixing and chilling is always a constant in life here. So that's what I'm talking about when I mean cycles here. It's kind of universal for all of us here. So what the hell does this have to do with TF2? I came here to talk about TF2 and cycles. So when it comes to video games, if you made it this far, props to you, good job, I'm happy about that. It seems like a lot of games have different cycles and different life cycles, and same goes for consoles as well, so let's talk about it. I'll start with TF2 since this is a game that we're talking about here. You have a certain time frame and cycle for TF2 that's kind of been constant, and you see it with a lot of games here. So you have the game release, you have an update, you have a weapons upgrade or downgrade, then you have an expansion, and it's kind of like Valve and Steam has kind of timed it to where they know, okay, this is when people are starting to lose interest with the game, and not, the hardcore players who are going to play no matter what, but the general kind of casual player who plays the game on the weekend here. They're not putting money into keys, they're not investing in their crates, they're not going into the economy of TF2 and making it better. So Valve and Steam have to kind of work together to spice things up for the TF2 community. So that's that cycle here. Now, I'm not exactly sure on how much. Maybe it's every 3 months, maybe it's every 6 months. But you can kind of tell there's always a Halloween update, there's always a Christmas update, and there's always something kind of in the beginning here. So we just got the update for TF2 here. So that's the TF2 update. More, console specific, I would say that the Call of Duty series has a life cycle, and that's, a game I'm very familiar with the cycles because I used to play it a lot, from, I would say, about 2008 to, let's see, like 2011, 2012 probably is when I stopped playing the game a lot. So this life cycle of that is you always have a TF2 come out in November, you always have a Call of Duty come out in November-ish, always kind of like Memorial Day, because it used to be like military themed, and now it's like futuristic themed. And then, you'd have everyone pick it up, all the players, with the Mountain Dews and the Doritos, getting the high XP and stuff when they started doing that, the double XP weekends and things like that. You'd have a lot of buzz around it. And then by the end of November, beginning of December, you'd see this fall off of, players who, casual players not playing so much. People kind of know the weapons. Some patches have been added to it. And then you get the Christmas noobs. And that's a big thing in the Call of Duty community. Like, all the streamers, all the YouTubers kind of get a little perked up here because they know they can get really good gameplay on kids and players who have not played the game before and they just got it for Christmas. And so you get a lot of younger people, you get a lot of players who are just picking it up for their significant others or whatever, who are just playing the Call of Duty game for the first time. And I love how I basically split up younger people and players. And I wanted to talk a little bit about, people who are kids playing video games and, people who are of age, when you have an NC-17 rating or whatever playing video. Anyways, but that's a video for another time here. So going back to the life example, I think one big life cycle that a lot of people can relate to is weather cycles. I mean, we have 4 seasons: winter, spring, summer, fall. Winter, spring, summer, fall, repeat. And you don't really get a mix-up on that. I mean, it's pretty consistent, it's pretty constant. For the most part, you may get some areas that, we have El Nino in Southern California, it's a little bit extra rain in the winter. Or you may have like a deadly blizzard in the Northeast in like Boston and New York. But for the most part, people have pretty consistent weather. And yes, there's global warming and things like that that affect it slightly over the years. But that's not what I'm talking about in this. What I mean is something that's cyclical. So it's like a routine within a routine, if that makes sense. You have your normal routine, and then you have the life cycle routine. So everything seems to be life seems to be made up of cycles and routines, which is not a bad thing. I'm very much like a sort of schedule-oriented person. I like to know what's coming up. I like to know things to expect. I don't like change that's too rapid. Sometimes change can be a really good thing, and a mix-up is always healthy. And spontaneity is always fun, like, hey, let's hang out after work or after school. Let's go hang out, nothing. I have nothing to do, you have nothing to do, let's go do it. Or let's go watch a baseball game, or, let's go do something. That's always fun to mix it up, but for the most part, it's not bad to have a certain set of routines and things that you do consistently, that you can look forward to. So going to the gym or working out an hour a day, 2 hours a day, that's something you can look forward to do. You should schedule it in, you should make time for it. Or playing video games. I would say that the priority should be the gym and then the video games afterwards. That's usually how I mix things up. But whatever. So the whole thing, why I'm bringing up cycles and routine and things like that, is I just wanted to ask, do you think this is human nature? Do you think humans like routine? Do you think they like having a certain cycle here? Do you think they like knowing when the next Call of Duty is going to come out, or when the next iPhone is going to come out, and you can expect the Christmas news, and you can expect a Christmas update and a Steam sale and a TF2 update? For me, I would say, in my opinion, that I think humans do like it. I think a lot of them feel comfort in knowing what's coming up here. And at the beginning, yes, a surprise, like the new iPhone is going to come out 2 months early or 2 months later. Oh my God, it's making news headlines. That's something that can mix things up. So the media can talk about it, so people can talk about it. It's a conversation topic at school or around the water cooler at work or something like that. But I would say, for the most part, that humans like having the consistent schedule, the consistent things to look forward to, the schedule, the cycle, the routines. But a little bit of things do mix it up. So one big thing, this is a United States example, but this year is an election year for the President of the United States. And this has made things go extremely crazy. You can tell there's certain patterns that have happened every election year for the last 30 or 40 years. So for example, nothing bad can happen to the economy. I mean, something could happen, but it's a small chance, because presidents, people around the world don't want to mess things up during an election year, because it could cause a problem for that party. So I studied politics in high school and college. That was my major, was political science. So I kind of know a little bit about the cycles and the things to expect here, and you can't expect major change on an election year, so that's something you can always look forward to. But what's funny is that in an election year, you can definitely expect your friends to somehow know about politics, and all the people on Facebook and Twitter magically developed an interest in, some of them are supporting Hillary Clinton out of the blue, and some of them are supporting Bernie Sanders, and wow, that guy's a Trump supporter. I would have never thought she, supported John Kasich like that, Oh, and Cruz, don't get me started on those Cruz supporters. I'm not going to talk politics. I love to talk politics, but, it seems like people on the internet have a phobia and don't want to stir the pot. I think, and I've said it a few videos over the last couple of years that I've been making videos, it's not unhealthy to talk about politics here. But the fact that, politics is being talked about this year more than all the other years is a very important thing, because, it's that mix-up that people need, in their routine. So, oh my God, Bob never posts anything about politics, but every week he's posted an article about, the person who's running that he supports or that she supports, whatever. But yeah, the video's coming to a close here. We just finished up. Top scoring, really good run with the heavy here. I always get nervous on the last point because nobody ever protects the catwalk. Well, let me know what you think about routines. Do you like them? Do you hate them? I want to know. Thank you all for watching so much.